Hi, I'm John with the Madeira Chamber of Commerce, and you've probably driven down or walked down Miami Avenue a couple times and noticed Gilson's Engraving and Elegant Gifts. And today I'm here to bring you a story about a gentleman that's come overseas, started his family here, and brought his passion and love for engraving, created a business, and ended up here in Madeira. And now you see the billboard of Madeira called Gilson's. This business has thrived through the pandemic, thanks to you all here in Madeira. And now here's their story.
I grew up as a kind of town where names know your name. But I grew up as a kind of town where things never change. Friends eat at the restaurant. The principal knows the street you live on. The farmer's market runs all day long. The Saturdays are full of songs. School buses packed, kids from your street. The pool is full of every swim beat. The street dances stacked with the people on their feet. And that's kind of the 4th of July.
We're going to tell our Madeira Small Business Stories Part 2. As I come into the store and sit down with both of them, I sit with Tony and Susan Gilson. And here is our couple sitting right in front of us. How are you guys today?
Doing well so far.
I have a couple questions for you, and so does the City of Madeira and the Chamber of Commerce. Are you ready for these questions?
We are.
All right. So I'm going to ask you.
Tony.
Oh, look who walks in the door. You ready? You ready for these questions? Don't be embarrassed.
Come in, there's like,
That's okay. That's okay. A couple questions from the City of Madeira, people of Madeira, and the Chamber of Commerce. And are we ready to go? We're going to start with childhood. So we'll start with you, Tony. Are you ready?
I guess.
Tony, where did you grow up?
In Birmingham, England.
Okay. And what was your family like?
Lovely.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
you are not. You better be better than this. Stop it.
Well, I did.
All right, but answer.
I can't remember.
You did. I mean, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 2 brothers
Okay.
and a sister. There was Brian,
Brian,
there was Bob, and there was Susan.
Susan.
Mhm.
Okay. What did your parents do?
My father was a musician.
Okay.
And he played with the symphony orchestra in Birmingham, and also had his own dance band, and did a good job. He was a resident band at a hotel in Droitwich Spa, which is just outside Birmingham. He ran the band, the resident band there, where they played every Friday and Saturday. So we got to go out there and stay there when he was performing. So the whole family would troop out there and have a weekend in a hotel, which was very pleasant.
Did he or your mom ever talk to you about anything about engraving or anything that would have inspired you to go that direction?
Yes. Well, my dad worked. He had his bass player in his band was an engraver. He had an engraving business, Lancaster Company, and so we knew what was going on there. And the only reason I got into the engraving was because I was going to be called up in the army. There was a draft. The draft was on, and so I was going to be drafted unless I did an apprenticeship. So I did an apprenticeship at this engraving business, and that's how I learned the engraving. That's where we started. And then we bought an engraving machine, my dad and I, and we used to do engraving in our basement at home. So we did some work on that.
Think there was anything maybe when you were younger that Were you engraving in trees or maybe in your mashed potatoes or anything like that that you would have been inspired, that would have forecasted something?
I did some artwork. I was quite artistic and used to build things around the house. And I used to go to art school, so I was quite handy. I used to be the fix-it guy around the house.
Did you ever find yourself doing anything, I don't know, being a pest around the house or get in trouble?
No, I was always very well behaved.
Was there?
Are we talking about his childhood or today?
I haven't changed.
Is there any stories you want to tell there, Susan?
No, I just reiterate, he's very handy. It's nice to have him around the house. He can usually fix pretty much anything I need fixed or supply me with the drill bit that I need to fix it. So that would be all I'd say.
Who was the troublemaker within the brothers and sister?
We were all very well behaved. This was during World War II, so you had to be well behaved. Otherwise you didn't eat. You know, it was hard to get food. My mother used to work hard to get food for us. And we went away. We didn't have a Kroger's. We had local stores in this town. We're on the outskirts of Birmingham. Birmingham's the second largest city in England, but we were on the outskirts, and so that there were no departments, no supermarkets in those days anyway. It was all small stores, and when she heard that food was coming in, she'd go and stand in line when the deliveries were made, which is what everybody had to do. So we had to behave, otherwise we didn't get to eat.
Right.
That's not quite true, but it's close.
In England, was the military enlisted or was it a drafted option?
It was drafted.
It was drafted?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to be drafted when I was 18. So I did this engraving apprenticeship from 18 to 21 to avoid the draft. And then I had to go in. Then I was drafted. So I had 3 years to learn the engraving. And then I was in the army. When I was in the army, I did some engraving. I was drafted. I was posted to Osnabrück, which is in North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany. And I used to work for a local jeweler doing his hand engraving on the side.
At what point did you decide to come to the United States?
Can you talk about Susan for a bit? I came to the United States. It's another story, really.
Sure. If I skipped ahead, you can fill in.
He came to the United States with his first wife, Diana, who we're very good friends with, but I don't know that Tony wants to go into that. It's up to you, babe.
Well, that's how I got here. She was a teacher, and an American couple came to teach in England. And this is in Birmingham, where she was a teacher. And they came for 2 years to work in England. So we got to know them well. And then we decided to emigrate to the States. And they said, well, come with us. We live in Cincinnati. Came to Cincinnati and then had to look for a job. I looked for a job and I got a job in Cincinnati, working for a company called Porter Precision Products, who made punch and dies for the tooling industry. And they were pretty good. They were one of the nation's best tool and die supply companies.
That was downtown Cincinnati?
They're on Banning Road in the other side of town here.
Okay.
But they were a company with about 100 employees. Ended up as executive vice president.
Wow. So you've seen quite an evolution in how Cincinnati's changed.
Yeah, I guess it's changed. It was very nice then. But I got a good job there. Made a lot of money and learned the tooling business, which was completely strange to me, but they thought I was special. They called me an exotic because I wasn't American and had nothing to do with America. So
Right.
the talent, it was a talent agency thing, what you call this. I applied for a job there and they got me this job with Porter Precision Products.
So was it you that decided that you wanted to go off and start your own business, or did you partner with somebody when you moved towards the Kenwood area, or was there an in-between
Oh,
business?
lots of in-betweens. The Porter Precision Products guy, the guy who owned it, Mr. Porter, and he wanted to live in France. So he got a French partner and moved to live in Paris and opened a company there. And Walter Porter did not speak French, so this guy was taking quite a bit of an advantage of him, which I could figure out that he wasn't getting the best deal. So he said after he'd been there for a couple of years, he said, "Tony, I'm going to come back because because he really didn't know what he was doing over there." He came back. I said, "Well, if you're coming back and you're going to run the place," we came to that arrangement. I got 6 months' pay as executive vice president of this company, which was pretty considerable.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I decided we'd start our own engraving business. So
Not this wife.
not this one, no, a couple ago, but so that's how we started the engraving business, and she was very supportive. She was a teacher too, so she had a job, and she just won $40,000 on the lottery a couple of weeks ago.
Should have stayed with her.
So I should have stayed with her.
It's kind of like, when was that idea created?
That was a long time ago. So when I started at 325 Walnut Street, which was in the Dixie Terminal building. And I had a little shop right in front of the Dixie Terminal building, and right in downtown Cincinnati. And used to get quite a bit of work from local jewelers companies in Cincinnati. And that kind of was a good boost to get the thing started, because my initial money to start the place was not that much. It kept us going for the first 6 months. And then I started to make some money on my own business. That was a good time, because I was with the presidents of Shillito's and Bogues and Newstead Loring Andrews. We all were the Central Business District Committee, and they got me on it because I was exotic, I guess. And we had monthly meetings, which I was privileged to be in, because these are all the guys running a business in Cincinnati. We did that on Walnut Street for a while, and then I had the opportunity to move out of there. So we owned a place in the Western Hotel lobby, which was more retail oriented, because with lots of traffic. So that was good, and that's when we really started this kind of business that we have now, with the gifts and engravable gifts and top quality merchandise. So I was there for a while, and then the opportunity came. We thought to move out to the suburbs as well. So the second place here, the marketplace in Montgomery. Yeah, the marketplace in Montgomery was just opening up.
So you were running 2 stores.
Yeah, so they came to me with an offer to take a space there. So we had two stores then.
Mm.
And that was okay until we had the opportunity to open a place in Florida. So then I had 3 stores.
What part in Florida?
Broward County, Plantation Mall. It was a new mall down there. And what happened, actually, somebody there, a neighbor of ours, we had moved, my wife and I moved out to Montgomery area to a house. One of the neighbors was a developer who was developing a place in Florida at this Broward Mall. He was developing the Broward Mall. So he got us in there. And so we built a store in the mall. It was called the Pewter Place. They were all called the Pewter Place to start with. Pewter Place Engravery. Because pewter was a fashionable material then, and easily available, accessible, and not too expensive. But it worked well. Eventually decided that having 3 places was too many. So I managed to sell it. Then the the downtown here was, I think we closed that to concentrate on the marketplace in Montgomery. And that's how we really ended up here, because it was...
You had the strip center in Kenwood somewhere that then became Kenwood Town Center. And we had the store at Tower Place when Tower Place first opened up.
Yeah, I've been around a bit.
Yeah.
So then Susan found me.
You're jumping ahead. All right, next question.
Not to change the subject, but I have this question thrown in here. I want to hear about the golf game that's on the wall.
Oh, 2 holes in one?
The 2 holes in 1 mug. 2 holes in one in one mug.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was the extent of my golf game, really. And I played golf. I was a member at Clovenot Country Club here, which was beneficial because there was a lot of business in the golf industry. And as a member there, I was able to do business with Kenwood Country Club, Camargo Club, and all the golf clubs around Cincinnati, and the Greater Cincinnati Golf League, and which is now the Greater Cincinnati Golf Association, who buy a lot of awards from us. So that helped business.
So Gilson's does a lot of business with golf clubs in the area. And Tony was able to get 2 holes in one month.
Yeah.
That's pretty unbelievable.
And I was the runner-up in the club championship at Clovenot because I lost in the final because I played so badly.
That's an unbelievable achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's believable.
That's believable. How did you find your position at the store?
I married into it. I was a salesperson. I'm going to take this back. I was a salesperson for Steve Pewter and Silver when Tony and I met. And I continued to be a salesperson. I was a traveling salesperson. We had 2 little kids, and we both thought, I don't want to travel anymore, because I would leave on a Monday, come back on Thursday. And Tony, we had full-time help, but Tony was on his own. So it just made sense for me to no longer travel. And the industry I was in was compressing, because retail stores were combining. There was McAlpin's, Lazarus, trying to think of all the other ones, but it Federated got rid of Lazarus. It became Macy's. The buying offices changed. So I was kind of out of a job, and this worked out perfectly for us. So that's how I
Found a job.
Yeah, found a job. It said, please hire me.
And then what was your original position, title?
I've never had a position. I do whatever needs to be done.
Sure.
So I think we had...
We are a corporation. So
yeah.
She's basically the president now.
But we were on the cutting edge of the internet. And when we first started, we have a little bit of a blended family, but I call them my own. We have 2 big boys, Matt and Bob. Bob had some friends that wanted to make a website, and they came to us and said, could we, what do you want to do? And Tony said, well, we have this crystal line, Swarovski, that we sell a lot of. Let's focus on Swarovski crystal. And this is at the very beginning. We had the domain SwarovskiCrystal.com. We had a really big business in this because it was highly collectible. And that was really what I was doing. I think I got my first award here at Gilson's was Queen of the Internet, I believe, because I looked over getting those orders in and shipping them out. So that was really how I started, and why they needed help, because we were doing quite a bit of business with them, which was why Swarovski put a shop in the mall, based on the fact that we were doing close to $300,000 worth of Swarovski business for them, but they thought they could make more money if they did it on their own.
Sure.
So that's kind of how it started.
So you don't have to get too much into details here, but just like people want to know about, I guess you could say,
Just the way you're stumbling over the question has me concerned.
royal family and, anything that you hear in the news about anybody that's politics or anything like that. Were there any funny first moments when you first met that kind of sparked things off between you two, that you knew it was going to be a little bit more than business relationship?
You can answer that one.
Want to? Of course, his accent was a thing. I lived in New York. He lived in Cincinnati. We started talking over the phone. I worked for this company, Kirk Steve Pewter, and I was the New York metropolitan rep, but I also had key accounts across the country. And Lazarus was remodeling at Kenwood Town Center, and they were doing a whole pewter thing for some reason. And this was 32 years ago. I mean, this is a long time ago. And Tony was one of my key accounts. So that kind of started it, and it just kind of kindled from there. And then Lennox China had a position open in Cincinnati, and I kind of said, I don't know if you really like me, but I'm moving to Cincinnati because I kind of like you. And then it was, and he did like me. So it worked out just fine.
I had a nice apartment in One Lidle Place.
Yeah.
Overlooking the river.
That's what really got me. It was a nice apartment, and it was the Roebling Suspension Bridge.
Yeah.
And I said to all my friends, I got a view of the Brooklyn Bridge from my apartment. So that was nice.
Hey, do you remember your first date? Do you remember when you first had dinner?
I remember a lot of things, but the first thing that I think was maybe one of the most fun first things, and this was, we really weren't, I flew in for this. Okay. So this was when Ray Charles was at the Kenwood Town Center for the grand opening. And because it was a black tie event, and it was a invitation only kind of thing. And he was going to entertain in the food court area. And Tony said, do you want to go to this with me? And so I said, yes. And that's what I think that kind of could have been our first date, maybe.
I don't remember.
Take credit for it.
It was good. It was good.
Did we eat?
No.
Did we pay for it?
No. So it's a great first date. You got away cheap.
Yeah.
But when we lived downtown, we used to go to, and both of us have this memory thing. What was the restaurant that was underneath the Masonette? Or what was that, where they had all the peanuts?
The Normandy.
The Normandy. That's where we used to hang out a lot, because we could walk over there from his place.
I've got a royal family story to tell you.
Sure.
Do you want it now?
Yes.
Before I left England.
Does this involve another wife that's not me?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Before I left England, the company I worked for.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
I've got to remember this one now. Anyway, they wanted to keep me there to replace, I was in the pecking order of management, because one older gentleman used to call on the palace when the Queen would select her gifts for her next trip, and to show the work that we did at our company. Which company was that? Anyway, we were manufacturing silver company in London, and it'll come to me in a bit. But he was of retirement age, and they wanted to keep me to replace him, to do this job of calling on the palace once a year to sell our goods to the Queen. She would select the stuff. And I decided to come over here instead of getting that job. And I don't know why I did that, but that's what I did. But it was an opportunity to present merchandise to the palace. Wakely and Wheeler was a silver company, and it was a big silver manufacturer in London. But that's as close as I came to meeting the Queen.
While we're on all these deep moments, let's talk about a tough moment you remember working together on that you made it through. and celebrate together and think about today?
So challenging times, building this building, making the decision to get out of the mall. That was tough, but the rent there was ridiculous. And it was Tony's idea that we should get a building and move. And then we decided Madeira based on our customer base, which is Madeira, Indian Hill, Terrace Park, Hyde Park, so Blue Ash, Montgomery, that whole kind of area. So that was a big challenge coming here. 2007, we opened the building. 2008, the economy hit the tanks. That was a challenge. The pandemic was a big challenge. Luckily, we had a pretty good internet system set up. We had a good website. We had customers that would phone in orders, and we were able to, even though we were deemed essential because we do some engraving for GE, and they do electric panels that we would do the engraving on, and they were essential, so we were essential. So it was kind of funny. I'd have to go to FedEx and pick things up, but I'd always have to bring my little letter with me saying I was an essential, because I was always afraid I was going to get pulled over by the police or something. But the pandemic, we got through it. I mean, PPP loans, of course, helped to get us through it. But we had a pretty strong customer base, and people that would order online, and people that would do pickups at the door. We have such a good core of people working for us. Even though they weren't here, I could get engravers to come in to help when we needed, maybe once or twice a week, to catch up on orders. And we work less hours. Absolutely. I think we had the same attitude adjustment that everybody else did. Life is, precious. And when you ask about hardship, Tony and I don't focus on the hardships. We focus on the positive. I get that more from him because I can go negative. But we look ahead, not behind. And we make it work. And we tell people we can work together because we don't do a lot of things together. But what we do well together is when I'm in over my head, I can get him to help me get out. And when he doesn't want to do something, he has me do it. So it's kind of, which is, not engraving, obviously, because I'm not an engraver. Yeah. I can't do that, but I can do the other stuff that needs to be done. So,
was the healthcare system a big focus during that time, during the pandemic? Sending out orders to them, where people were creating a lot of orders to send to doctors, nurses?
No. That was probably the biggest quiet time. It was strange what got it through. We would have customers that would order 20 julep cups. My daughter always wanted julep cups, so I'm going to do the julep cups. And that was a Madeira gal that sent them to. So I think it was really just people saying, who do I want to help out? Yeah. And it was really local community. Customers that we've been doing business forever that decided they needed a gold locket for their granddaughter. And, they weren't huge, big orders, but they were big enough to keep us going. And plug for First Financial Bank. They were very, very helpful. It was a scary time because within the course of a week, we had to figure out how to not pay our mortgage anymore, what to do with the employees. It was a scary time. I would not want to go back, but I don't remember it that well anymore because I don't have a good memory, but you move forward. You just keep moving forward.
So on that note, what's your proudest moment in the last, say, 5 years?
I'm pretty proud of this interview, actually. I think we did a damn good job. I had a proud moment in the last 5 years. I don't know. There are too many proud moments to pick just one. I think I think it's all proud. I'm happy with all of it. Damn. Jeez.
Yeah, luckily I can't remember stuff.
I think, no, all right. In seriousness, if I can regain my composure. Jeez, but I can't. So forget it.
We have fantastic employees or partners who've helped us through all these times.
Yeah.
And a couple of moves, some of them.
Where's one of my
Location moves. So it's been having reliable employees is wonderful. I mean, you don't see that in many companies. So that they run the place, and I pretend to show up once in a while. But Susan and the girls do such a great job here, and I think that's what the customers respect.
What are the keys to success for 50 years?
Staying alive through it all.
not giving up.
Yeah, not giving up. That's what I mean.
Yeah. And I think one of the phrases that he'll hit me with when I'm like a little anxious about things, his best thing is, who said it's going to be easy? Who told you life was easy? So you just keep doing it. And I too have to say, we are supported. You know, you've got us on this interview, but we are supported by an incredible team that have been here for years and years and years. We have Dee Engraving, Laura, that runs the store. I have Alina, who helps me. We've got our son Henry here. So we've got a great crew. Loyal part-timers who call this their retirement job and make me way jealous of what it would be like to ever retire and do a job that you can come in and have fun and go home. So we have a lot of support, and Tony's always had good employees.
Anything else, Tony?
If you call it success, looking forward to more success. You know, always looking forward to the next opportunity, and at the same time keeping up with the opportunities that you have had to keep them rolling, which is what we do with this retail business.
All right, last question. This might be a tough one, but I want you to be honest. What do you see in the next 10 to 15 years for Gilsons?
It has to get on without me.
And maybe me. I honestly don't know. I mean, that will be if our son Henry decides to take over the helm. It could be anything. I mean, we're set up. We have the retail store. We have the internet business. We have 2 websites. There's a lot of collateral that people can work with if somebody wants to do something with it. I know you're going to talk to Laura later, but Laura and I are about the same age. And I've got the head of engraving, Dee, who's a little behind us in age. So it really seems like there will be a generational change that takes place. And I don't know. I mean, I think there will be a building here. I don't know how much of it Gilsons Engraving will house. And if, like I said, if Henry decides he wants to do something different with the business, if we're not involved, I have no idea. And I have no idea. You know, you never know. And it really is one day at a time. You know, you show up, you work, you do your job, you don't know what's going to happen. But I think there'll still be some sort of presence. I think Gilsons will be around in some way, shape, or form, for sure.
It's amazing the choices that we make through life, that the roads and paths that we take and where they take us today. 8 years ago, when I was riding my bike to work every day along the lakefront on Lakeshore Drive and watching the sun come up over the lake, I would have never thought I'd be sitting in Cincinnati talking both of you with my lights up, racing to get this interview done with you all before you open. I very thankful. I never thought I'd have a second college degree in cinematography, talking to you all about your business and life and telling stories and living the dream of where I am today. And you're talking about the closest you've been to the Queen of England. It's just like, it's so weird. It's so bizarre, but it's just, I thought I was going a whole different direction. You thought you were going a whole different direction, and it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I really never had a direction, I don't think.
I don't think I have one either. Well, thank you for your time. I really enjoyed this, and the stories go deep, and I think that everybody's going to benefit from hearing your story, because they're not just walking in and looking at a frame or at a computer cup or anything that they're going to just get for a gift. They're hearing your story and they're hearing the background, and it means so much more when they come in here than just buying a gift for somebody. They're hearing the background. They're hearing the comfort, the love behind what you put into this. It is the story behind it, and there's an emotion, there's a love, there's so much more. And
Okay.
I thank you again for your time.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Tony.
Cut.